I know you're transitioning the scene because I just heard your robot voice happening there, Grant. So let's introduce our players here in our next series. Spawning in that top left position in the red. It is from Starcom Gaming and from Russia. Oh, pardon me, from Ukraine. I do it every time. From Starcom Gaming and the Ukraine, it is Cass.
And his opponent in the bottom right-hand side, representing Team Rotti. And of course, Spain, our second Spanish player of the day. Nice to see a resurgence in the region. He is the young Terran player in blue. It's Aqueron.
See, I say Aqueron, but I think that's because you guys in Britain say Aqua,
but it's the E.
And see, we in America, we say Aqua.
Aqua, that's wrong.
Like an AH sound, whereas you guys say Aqua. Which sounds worse for me, but that's just because, I generally just like everything about British English.
Fix the sound quickly, guys. I know it's a little low. That should be better.
Well, TVT is an interesting matchup, and this will be our first TVT of the day. And in fact, is this our very first TVT of the entire event?
I believe so.
It is, because I'll tell you why. Group A and Group B only have one Terran each. The distribution for races here in this event has been so strange. Yeah. 4 Zerg in order. Here are the Zergs in the groups, Grant. 4, 3, 1, 3. That's the best you're going to get. Protoss 3, 4, 5, 0. There's not a single Protoss in Group D. And then the Terrans 1, 1, 2, and 5. I don't know what on earth, what drugs the person was using that did these groups. They are not balanced race-wise at all. But you know what? Since we get to see every single matchup, I'm not going to complain about it too much. Still the best players in the world. Yeah,
definitely. And these are two that really they're going to have a difficult time of things going forward. It's fair to say that Cass, he's typically done all right, but he's never been able to get through to the next stage. And Aqueron, this is his first time qualifying since we had the change of circumstances when the world came to an end. And he'll be looking to put down his mark. He's got someone very, very intelligent and powerful and with a lot of reach to guide him, and he'll be wanting to make his mentor proud, for sure.
For sure. I love the little Maca racks and Maca factory and Maca starport in these very unusual positions there for our boy Cass. I don't really know what he's up to there with those. Just maybe try to throw Aqueron off a little bit. Of course, Aqueron hasn't spotted them yet. Yeah, hasn't scouted a single thing. Doesn't really even matter what he's up against. He has no idea. Just playing it very safe right now, getting those 3 Reapers and the 2 Hellions before he pushes across. But so far, the only difference right now in these builds is that there's a reactor going down for Aqueron and a tech lab going down for Cass.
Yeah, that is it. The game very similar so far. Now we do have the first move out of the game coming from the young Spanish player. Going to be moving out with a few Reapers and some Hellions. He gets the first very big volley, and this is the kind of thing that can really snowball a game, because guess what, Cass? You're not at home anymore. And guess who is in your home? Right now, this is going to be a few dead workers, and this is the advantage in a mirror matchup that you really want to pick up. If that first Hellion goes down here for Cass, he could be in a lot of trouble. Just look at the supply already. A 10% lead here for Aqueron, and he's going to go home happy, content that he's picked up some workers and done some damage.
Yeah, I think Aqueron maybe have been able to stay a little bit longer and maybe commit to that fight, but he's playing it safe, and I don't blame him. Those early game TVT fights with the Hellions and Reapers are vicious, Grant. If you lose, as you said, the very first Hellion goes down and it's your Hellion, the game not practically over, but very, very difficult.
Yeah, definitely. We do see the continuance of movement here from Aqueron. He's also starting to add in the very typical Raven, adding in tanks, going into very standard gameplay. We can see once again the movement here, and there's casting out of position again. He's going to lose the first Cyclone. There's going to be more workers going down. Now Aqueron is going to lose most of this standing force he has in the front, maybe eventually. But Reaper's now going into the main. They're going to get more and more workers. And oh man, this is not good for Cass right now. Aqueron finding so much damage, and things looking pretty good, man.
This is a really interesting opener for these Terran players, notably because they started so standard, so even, and then they changed things up so distinctly. While they both lost about the same amount of units, more workers have gone down for Cass than for Aqueron, and notably, we already see Aqueron. If you look at that units tab, you can see the Raven advantage was in Cass's favor there very briefly. So Cass actually used his Raven with the auto turret to defend that, and that's much more difficult to destroy than the Hellions that are on the ground. So Cass's Cass's Raven saving the day there, but here comes Aqueron's Raven, do some counter pressure.
This is going to get a lot of kills. Once again, nice target fire on the weaker SCVs. So far, we're looking at how many workers have gone down. 9 even. And that number continuing. No, just taking at 9, but that is a lot. You can see the difference. Aqueron is up 10 workers. He's up in army supply. His upgrade's not yet started. There we go as we talk. We are going to be seeing Bio versus Mech, which I think is very interesting here.
Are you really surprised, though, Brant, Cass going Mech in a TBT?
No, not really. But I think it's very difficult to go into Mech from behind.
You're correct about that. So. Absolutely. Mech is one of those builds that really helps if you're already ahead. Mech is a great way to cement that lead, protect your bases, expand behind it, use the tank's zoning to zone out those other opponents. Whereas if you're going Mech from a position of weakness, it forces you to be a bit more aggressive. And I want to know what type of Mech Cass is going to go for. He's already working on one tank. That leads me to believe it may be a more traditional Mech style with a couple of tanks out, a couple of Hellions as well. But he's getting Blue Flame. He's got a lot of Hellions out. He could transition into Battle Mech and go for a more aggressive guerrilla style as he bounces across the map and tries to find victories where Aqueron is not.
Yeah, the big concern here is drops and things like that. Aqueron is going to be able to, if he can get around and get the air superiority, he's going to be able to drop like crazy. And Cass's army, if he does go traditional tank base, is going to be a little bit more of a problem to deal with. We can see, Blue Flame on the way. It's going to help, certainly for dealing with drops and things like that, but we can already see Aqueron really committing to the air fight here. He's adding in 2 Vikings at a time. Viking count, we can see it is 6 against just 3, so certainly in favor here of the blue Terran player. A lag spike there. Do you feel that
everything all right on your end?
Yeah, I'm not dropping frames.
Okay, great. I changed something on my end. That may have been what it was. Okay. Apologies. Goodness gracious. All right, so Blue Flame Hellion about to finish up here for Cass. Aqueron working on Stim combat shields. 1-1 about to finish. Does he have that armory down already there, Grant?
Let's take a look.
He does not. So his 2-2 going to be a bit delayed, I think.
Yes. Yeah,
there's the armory going down.
Yeah. Double armories, of course, for Cass, who is playing the Mech style, and will be looking to pile on those upgrades as well, whilst he is playing from behind right now. So I feel like right now, if Aqueron goes, and I'm having some FPS lag. This is crazy.
You know, it's funny. I've never had a jerky game at all until I had previously hosted the last couple games. And now I've got all my settings cranked back up to the max, and my game is as smooth as butter, Grant. It's very strange. Anyway, tanks out here for Cass to defend the third base. We'll see what can drive Aqueron away, but Aqueron going for a push here down the south side of the map. This push has been spotted by this Hellion on the low ground, so that should allow Cass a little bit of time to move his way in and defend against this. But these tanks from Aqueron going to siege up, and he's got the air advantage by far. Yeah,
he's also found a pretty good position here. If he can win the fight in the air, this is going to be pretty scary. We see a big Dorito cannon coming off. Gonna unpower or weaken a lot of those air units here of Aqueron. And Cass all of a sudden taking a pretty good fight, but if the Bio can get underneath this, as it will, it's going to be able to take down a lot of these Vikings. Excuse me, my hiccups.
Sorry.
Now, Aqueron is still up in supply across both borders, be it worker and army. And he's in a good position right now where he can take his 4th base, and that's exactly what we see at the south side of the map. Transferring SCVs down there, choo-choo, and behind this is 2-2 already on the way, just as +1 starts for Cass. So Cass's upgrades are going to be slower. Sure, his army does hit hard because there's so many tanks. We're looking currently at actually only 7 apiece. Cass's will hit harder as upgrades kick in, but the Bio is going to be very scary.
Yeah, the Bio is going to be very scary. One other thing one other component we're going to keep our eyes out for in this final fight is the air superiority of these players. As you guys know, tanks, of course, can shoot farther than they can see, or further than they can see. Yes. So as long as you have some units to scout for those tanks, you're going to have an advantage in a tank versus tank war. Right now, the Viking count 8-5 in favor of Cass. the Raven count, 2-1 in favor of Cass. And look at that production tab, Liberators, already on the way for Cass. So while he is behind in army supply, if you look at the army value tab, you can see that he's not as far behind as you might think. And in fact, his army slightly more technologically advanced than Aqueron's right now. Going to be very interesting for these players once they engage. If the Liberators can get sieged up and on top of the tanks for Aqueron, he's going to have a very difficult fight. If Aqueron's bio can get underneath the air army of Cass, he's going to have a good fight. Going to come down, as always in TVT, to map awareness and positioning.
Yeah, we're certainly looking at a very, very big fight for positional supremacy here. You can see Aqueron moving across the map. He deals with the run-by, which is very nice. Liberator is coming down to the south. There is no missile turret in place and no Marines here to deal with this. So this is going to be a bit of a problem here. But it looks like Aqueron is just going to go for it. He scans forward. The tank setup is very good. But all of those interference matrices coming in. And now Aqueron finding a very nice position. He scans the ramp as well. So his tank's able to unleash hell onto the tanks of Cass. It looks like Cass is still going to be able to hold this position. The planetary, though, being shelled. And I'm not quite sure if this planetary is going to be able to survive. It's now getting repaired. It looks like it should be okay. But Aqueron's lost 34 workers.
I was about to say, Grant, while all that was going on, Aqueron focusing all his energy on that push on the other side of the map, losing 34 workers to a Liberator in the main, Liberator in the third. There was no pull at all, and now Cass going to drop those Vikings on top of the tanks. He is held, and now almost certainly this game is Cass's to lose. Grant, how many times, not just in DreamHack, but everything else we've cast, has it come down to not the actual fight that's occurring, but which player can do economic damage during that fight? The fight is a distraction from getting economic damage done. Cass is held, and now he's up 90 workers to 59.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can tell with chat, but to give me some oofs in the chat, because
that is some big moment. F in chat. Now, Aqueron's not out of this. If he can get maxed, he'll be okay. He's not going to have the bank, though, that Cass is going to have. And he's really going to need to hold this counter push we now see coming from Cass. He knows it's coming. He has this spotter marine just here by these destructible rocks, which are about to go down. And we'll see what this force entails. The air army for Cass is superb. 13 Vikings, 2 Ravens, and that's going to be very difficult to deal with. But we do have the 360 coming in right now from our Spanish Terran players, going for it. The tank splitting all their fire, really not able to get too much done here. And now all of a sudden, the fight looks pretty good for Aqueron. Tank count reset.
Tank count reset indeed. And Grant, what did we say 8 minutes ago? We said this fight gonna come down to positioning, to map awareness, to who can get that better surround on their opponent. Aqueron taking a good fight, but his long, slow slog to victory is not over yet, Grant.
No.
He's still significantly behind in workers. He's still behind in army supply. His upgrades are still up, but it's going to be a long, difficult journey for him. He's got to take 1 or 2 more amazing fights. I love that he's mixing in a ton of Marauders. I love that he's trying to go for a little drop. It will get spotted by the scouting barracks, of course. And he's actually not going to go for that drop at all. Yeah. But a good initial fight there for Aqueron, but it's too early for him to pop that champagne quite yet.
Yeah, the best thing for Aqueron is this bought him time, and he produced nothing but SCVs. He's now almost caught up, and if anything, Cass may have over SCV'd. 93 is a lot for a Terran player who also generally will have mules and stuff. Like, if we take a look at the income right now, Cass is mining nearly 4,000 minerals a minute. So that's very nice for now, but his army will suffer. Take a look. Aqueron has more army supply right now. Upgrades as well. Free, halfway done for the Spanish Terran player. That was the fight he needed to get back into this. And it's anyone's game, man.
Anyone's game. I love TVTs like this, where they do turn into that sort of chess match strategic positioning battles. So often you'll see low-level TVTs where it's bio versus bio, and one player gets +2 before the other one does, and that's it. You know, the game's over, just because the Marines engage so much better with +2. But this game going to be fascinatingly interesting, and again, it may come down to the air battle, where again Cass is winning, but it may come down to another positioning battle where Aqueron seems to be showing really great prowess right now.
Yeah, Aqueron moving up here to the northeast is not going to be able to find too much. Liberators make this very difficult for Bio to push into. We also have a scan, and it looks like a Doom drop here. Aqueron, have you been watching Kel as your main? Because this is very much a Keller move. Moving in, taking down multiple tanks. So many workers go down. You kill 34 of mine, I'll kill, 8 of yours. Close enough.
Yeah.
And a lot of damage here, and what this is also doing is it's opening up more attack paths for Aqueron later on. Lots of workers go down. This is exactly what he needed. And honestly, when you lose 34 workers, you're in a lot of trouble, but Aqueron's really making this work, man.
Back ahead on workers for the first time in the last 5 minutes of this game. Now, this drop will, of course, get caught. Looks like he's going to sacrifice those bio units, which I think is absolutely the right call.
He killed 2 Thors.
Killed 2 Thors, which is so huge. The Vikings forced to land, but with no Thors, that means Aqueron can crank out. Look at the production tab, Grant. 6 Vikings at a time.
From both.
This game going to go Sky Terran versus Sky Terran. Every Thor that's not on the ground is a great Thor for Aqueron.
Yeah, and he's going to continue this drop play, and this is what I said earlier on. Now, this Widowmine most likely saw it. A Cloaked Widowmine's vision isn't great, so it would have been pretty close, but no, we have nothing moving out. Okay, yeah, the army is here. Aqueron maybe could go into the main here. He's just going to unload, target down a couple of buildings and disappear. But great stuff here from Aqueron, who is now able to, again, take more CCs. He is taking a little bit of damage from a Liberator over in this base at the 3 o'clock point. Marine's going to run in. Is this enough Marines? Okay, yeah, go round.
You know, Grant, I want to make a couple points here. First of all, that Liberator placement by Cass is so smart. A lot of Terrans now are realizing that if you place the Liberator over the path between the gas and the command center, you're going to pick up an extra 2, 3, 4 workers because it's so difficult to green box those workers and move them out. Absolutely. So that was good by Cass. But the main point I want to make is this match reminds me a lot of like a mixed martial arts fight or a kung fu match where the 2 players have studied their different styles and they're experts in their different styles. And so Cass is like the expert of the tiger mech style, where he knows that as long as he's powerful and strong in one location and tries to pick down the economy of his opponent, he's going to win. And he's using every dirty trick in the book to make sure that his mech play looks like textbook mech play.
I'm just sitting here laughing, imagining Aqueron at his keyboard doing like Bruce Lee noises.
I hope that's what's happening because Aqueron is playing this crane fighting style where he's like, you know what? I'm a bio player. If I can be in 36 places at once, if I can sweep with grace through 4 different types of the map, if I can fly quickly from one place to the other and pressure in multiple locations, I'm going to have the advantage in this game.
Oh my God.
Look at the bang for both players, Grant, and tell me this is not going to be an epic fight.
Yeah, Liberator sieging up here. We do have advanced ballistics coming in. I have no idea who's winning this fight, Creighton. Viking camp heavily favoring Cast still. The Liberator's really not doing too much here. They need to unsiege and maybe even offer a little bit more to the fight. We can see Aqueron knowing he has to back off a little bit. The Viking count is so heavily in Cast's favor at 13-2. And that means Cast is able to edge forward, find the fights that he wants, find the fights that he needs. Goodbye, Liberators. That was not good.
Aqueron maybe losing a bit of focus there. Those Liberators still rallied out on a position to go to some aggression right over the top of tanks and Vikings. And man, I don't want to stretch this metaphor out beyond its reasonable limits, but Cass is definitely playing that tiger mech style where he's like, you know what? Tanks and Vikings, the highest DPS units that I can get. Splash damage from the tanks, huge DPS in the air from the Vikings, and as long as those Vikings there to scout for the tanks, nothing can destroy me because nothing can even get close to my tanks. Cass looks like he's beginning the very slow squeezing process of putting this constant pressure on Aqueron, forcing him to take a fight he doesn't want to take into a bevy of sieged up tanks.
Yeah, the scary thing right now is that Cass's upgrades are very soon to catch up, and that is the upgrade that Aqueron had for so long. With that 3-3 bio against 2-2 mag, it is going to be 3-3 in just about 15 seconds. You should see that pop up now. Damn! There we go.
18-19, more SCVs going down. These Liberators doing insane damage. That poor 3 o'clock base getting eviscerated, and Aqueron is under stress now, back down to 53 workers as Cass swings ahead in income and close in army supply again.
Yeah, and Cass really has control of this game right now, and the main thing is he has that extra base. You can see he has these 2 central bases, whereas the base in this position has been taken down. So in terms of economy, we should see Cass somehow mining way less. Okay, cheers. Aqueron just dropped 100 mules on this base in the bottom left, so that's what it is. But Cass has got a huge bank as well. 7k, 2.3k. He's adding in more 4s. He's now getting +3 for his vehicles. This base that has just been muled up like crazy. He's forced to repair all of these mules. Are going to time out as well, meaning the repair, I don't know if it will be enough. It doesn't look like it will be. Aqueron has to make something happen in order to save this. He cannot afford to lose another base. This planetary looking like it will be shelled, and it will eventually fall. See you, nerds.
Oh man, Koss finding a really nice position there, and Aqueron just sort of waiting. He's built an innumerable number of Vikings here, looking for some kind of engagement here. Cass, though, on the high ground.
27 Vikings!
He's going to have a very late siege. Liberators up for
Oh my
Aqueron,
god, the
but
force!
the Vikings are going to go ahead and engage.
The Force doing so much. Aqueron finally splitting, but Force just pounding down the damage. Looks like Aqueron, though, is winning this fight. He's doing so much damage. Liberator's now getting free reign. There's nothing to stop them. The Force are... there's only one left standing. So much going down right now. Aqueron all of a sudden taking a huge supply lead. What the frick is happening, Creighton?
Grant, how many times during this match have we said, hey, keep an eye on the air armies of these players. The player who has air dominance will have almost practical hegemony over the entire map and will be untouchable. And now, with that last fight, Aqueron investing so much in the Vikings, sure, Cass has a lot of tanks on the ground right now. 5 tanks to only 2, but the Viking count wildly in favor of Aqueron, and he is going to be able to move in and take out Cass's planetary fortress there. Tit for tat. This game continues, but now Aqueron swinging in the lead. He's still behind in workers, though.
Yeah, and the bank for Cass still stands. He just spent about 3,000 of it in total, but he still has a very, very heavy bank. His main problem is he can't produce that quickly, and he is really losing in the air right now. These Liberators with advanced ballistic siege up so quick. We see Force falling down, that bio stimming forward on top of one of the tanks. Aqueron moves forward. Aqueron goes in for the kill. Has he done it?
I think he has, Grant. It looks like Cass has been broken. The Thor is gone. The Vikings are gone. Cass trying to make 10 Vikings at a time, but right now, Cass doesn't need 10 Vikings. That time has passed. He has got to save some of these buildings, and unfortunately, Aqueron has too much on the ground. Bio, of course, a very easy army to replenish, and we can see Aqueron now parade pushing across the map. Blue, 2x2 Marauders of Blue coming across the map, Grant, and Cass is in a very difficult situation.
Yeah, Liberators rain down fire on top of the rest of Cass's army, and I'm afraid we're going to see those 2 magic letters any second. The supply's still surprisingly even, but I just feel like Aqueron has too much right now. The Viking count 11 to 4. Cass is producing 9 at a time, but they're popping out unevenly, and with Aqueron on top of the production as well, they're not going to be able to pop out safely. A starport goes down, the most important tech building right now for Cass. And just look at that swarm of blue, almost like a Zerg pushing across the map. Another planetary looking like it will fall shortly, maybe not. More Vikings join for Aqueron, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, just a matter of time. And just as you say, just a matter of time, the 2 magic letters pop down for Cass. Aqueron weathers the storm. Grant, that is the best game we have seen, not just all day, but so far, I think,
this
in
event?
both days of DreamHack so far. Cass versus Aqueron game run. Mark your calendars, kids. Share it on social media. Tell your grandmas. Get all your friends off of Fall Guys and tell them to check this out, because that game was
that game's sick.
I haven't played yet.
Absolutely immense. We move on to Everdream for our second map. We need to get in a party at some point. Wow. It was incredible. It was so back and forth, and I really thought a couple of times that it was over, and it just wasn't. So now we move on to our second map, which will be Everdream, our final map, Submarine, which is the map that will be making its first appearance today across any stream. So that could be exciting if we go there. But we still have some time yet. Ooh, a little party invite. I'm so excited. Guys, please let me know. Hopefully everything is okay production-wise. I'm going to lower my graphics just very slightly because I am on Ultra.
It's very strange. That's never happened to me either, Grant. And just earlier today, I was a little sluggish. Like I said, now that I'm not broadcasting anymore, I've upgraded all my settings literally back to Ultra, as high as the game
I'm running
can go.
a 2070 Ti. It's kind of sad, but I think we're okay. Thank you.
I'm sure it's fine, Grant. Twitch chat will let us know if there are any problems, but Game 2 proves to be really exciting. Speaking of Twitch chat, hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. It's so good of you to join us for DreamHack. Grant and I really do love your input. We have the B stream here on DreamHack, always has some of the friendliest chatters and some of the best insight. I love Twitch because it has that immediate feedback mechanism where we can actually communicate with you. I know that Grant and I are carrying on our own conversation, but trust me, we're seeing what you say.
Yeah,
we're trying
every time I'm looking down, I'm reading chat, guys. Every time I look down, I am reading chat. I see you all there. It's nice to see so many people. If we type in chat as well, that doesn't mean the game's over. It just means that we're messing about. We like to mess with you a little bit.
I do love typing in the middle of an exciting game, and chat's like, "Oh, Creighton's typing. The game must have been over 2 minutes ago." Fooled you. Grant and I are very good at that, guys. We're very good at those mental time bombs where you have no idea what's happening. Sort of like last game, where I feel like both of our players kind of had no idea what was happening for portions of that game. Grant, do you think Cass is going to take a gamble and roll the dice on going mech again in game number 2?
He'll go mech.
Or do you think he'll cool down and go bio?
No, I think it's Cass. He's going to play mech. These old bones. He's like my age. I think Cass has his style. He made mistakes, but he should have won that game. At points, both of them should have won, but Cass was up a lot of supply. He was up 50 workers, right?
Something like that.
If he had
30
just
or 40,
kept track the scans of the amount of Vikings and added in maybe 2 or 3 more 4s or more Vikings of his own, he'd have been fine. Cass has I asked for 1 second of break, ladies and germs. So we'll be getting straight into the series very, very soon and continuing that. I'm impressed with Aqueron, though. I think that mentally would have been very tricky.
How nice is it, by the way, Grant, that we've seen 2 Spanish players in a row with Solier earlier and now Aqueron. I know yesterday you were saying we haven't seen a lot of Spanish StarCraft talent since the heady days of like Wings of Liberty, Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm, I think, when we lost Vortex and Lucifron back in the day. Very exciting to have Aqueron and Solier back representing Spain here. I believe the first time DreamHack has had 2 Spanish representatives in quite some time.
Yeah, I completely agree. As I change scene, I try not to talk too much. For now, let us get into our game. Let me get the score right. Because in the bottom left, representing Starcom Gaming and Ukraine, he is the blue Terran player trailing in the series. It's Cass. Oh, look at his little happy star.
That's my favorite. That Starcom Gaming logo.
It's so good.
I tell you what, graphic design is so hard to do very well. And StarCraft teams tend to have a pretty decent graphic design team, just making things that are... very pleasant to look at, easy to recreate, following all the rules of good logo design. It's nice to see that profession is like seeping into StarCraft a bit more. And at the top right-hand side of Everdream LE, it's our red Terran player, currently teamless, representing not currently
teamless.
Just as I compliment his logo, I call him teamless. Representing Team Roddy, of course, it is Aqueron.
I'm telling Cav.
Oh, please don't. I'm casting with him a little bit later.
We need to talk about that. There is a chance you are not. Things may change. Spoiler alert. I know. We were saying earlier. Anyway, so this game we do have standard openings, no proxies or anything coming in. I think Aqueron is the kind of player who will drop a proxy in, but he grabbed victory from the claws of defeat, right? In that last game, so he's probably feeling pretty confident that he is playing superior, at least on the day, and would like to take it and just do a little bit better so he doesn't make the mistakes he made. I'd certainly say in the last 2-3 minutes of that game, he played absurdly well.
Yeah, no question about it. Again, so far behind in that series at so many different places, and somehow still able to pull out that win. That was Grant. Every once in a while we'll cast a game and we'll be disappointed with the result because both players, played kind of sloppy. And even though somebody won, it doesn't feel like a satisfying victory overall as a caster, as an observer, as an enjoyer of esports. Man, that last game, it felt like both players should have won.
That was one of those games where I know you all sit there and you go, wow, you guys are so lucky you get to cast StarCraft, but it can be, sometimes you're just going through the motions. That game was the one that got the blood pumping, I really, really enjoyed that game. And it's a mirror matchup. People rag on these mirror matchups, but it was sick, man.
It was so sick, and I don't know why people rag on mirror matchups. The StarCraft is in such a good position right now, Grant, and I don't want to,
except for Void Race.
Oh, okay, we'll
buff them again.
That's right. Exactly correct. I don't want to be a Blizzard fanboy, and I'm certainly not. Heaven knows I criticize the game as much as the next guy. But right now, in its 10-year history, I don't know that StarCraft has seen a more balanced time. Like, tournament results, you can't really use as a metric for balance. But it feels like every race... Every race right now has different options for how they open, how they play mid-game. Late game, of course, always going to be a bit narrow with those powerful late-game units, but my goodness, what an incredible place we're in right now, and how fortunate are we to still have a team, even though it's very small, back at Blizzard, who's taken care of the balance for this game.
Yeah, definitely. And I know a lot of people go, oh, Void Race hurt it. But the game is certainly some of the most fun. I mean, I'm playing, even like knowing that I have 7-8 hour days of casting, I'm waking up early to play right now. Which, you know, I'm a caster. I'm not meant to play the game. I'm a play-by-play guy. Come on. Because the game is just so fun, and I've only got positive things to say. This tournament so far has been a blast as well. Despite, you know, a couple of small issues, we're getting there. It is, and I'll say this over and over, because I know you guys look at this and compare us to the mainstream or the OCE, you know. It is just us two. There is no one else. We are producing, we are adminning. Kratos makes games for us. Sometimes he forgets to tell us.
Sure.
But he's my arch nemesis, so we don't compliment him anyway.
That's true. But we're so glad that you guys have joined us here on our little B stream production here. So glad that DreamHack has provided 2 streams so that we don't miss any of the action. I remember there have been a few tournaments in the past where they've said, okay, we're doing a group stage, but there's only one stream. And, you know, some amazing games will happen, and people will be like, holy crap, I got the replay for this game. It was insane. What a great setup this is.
Everything will be
we're very, very glad to have you guys here for the next 4 weeks. Goodness gracious, Grant. A month of StarCraft, and then we get like a month off, and then it's DreamHack Winter all over again.
Yeah,
one of the reasons Grant and I are filling some time, guys, is that so far this has been a very even game with almost no attacks. But right now, Aqueron finally going to try and incur into Cass's base and maybe do a bit of a strike.
Yeah, he shouldn't find anything. In the last game, Aqueron caught Cass with his pants down a little bit and was able to kill the first couple of units and snowball into some worker kills. This game, Cass has played very safe. You can see he's got units on the high ground. He's already got double Ravens defensively, tanks sieged up. And we should be seeing the confirmation here of Bio and or Mech very shortly from both of these players as the third CCs go down. For now, we are just looking at 1-1-1. It's very hard to read. We see Stim for Cass. Well, that answers that question.
It always does, Grant. That's always my first indicator when we see Stim going down on both sides of the map. This time, going to be Bio versus Bio. And Grant, I got to steal one of your caster cards, man. You said he was going Mech.
Oh,
bad call, Grant. Bad call.
They call me Grant, bad call, Grant Hill. Grant.
Well, I'll see if you update your overlay for next time. So that your Grant, you know, it's ridiculous. Look, guys, Bio and Mech are both very viable right now, and this goes back to the discussion we were having a little while ago. I mean, I remember periods in StarCraft's history where even in TVT, Mech just not like a real option at all. You know, a player going Mech and casters would go, I mean, okay, he's trying something weird. It's just not going to work. But right now, Bio and Mech both viable alternatives, and I'm really excited to see, especially Aqueron's play here with Bio, because he did so well last game surrounding those Mech armies, getting good map positioning. And I wonder if we'll have that opportunity again here in this game. As you're showing us, he's starting his +1/+1 already, and the engineering base slightly behind here for Cass.
Yeah, Aqueron right now sitting on the map should be able to see this push coming. This is a pretty hefty push that could be hitting the way of Aqueron right now. Tank count, if we were to take a look, is in favor of Cass, just by 1. Aqueron going to get a little bit of DPS down onto this command center, maybe get a Hellion. Everything can pick off here for free would be very nice, because what he's trying to do right now is just slow down any push. His third also landing. He wants to be able to get mining on that very quickly, very efficiently, and also stop Cass from moving across the map. So in terms of how things are going right now, the game, it's still, you can see everything very close. Production almost the same. 2 Vikings, 3 SCVs, a tank, a marine. Identical game, except for the 4 extra barracks currently being thrown down right now by Cass.
Whoa. Now, this is where things change a whole lot. The timing has now changed considerably for Cass. He's looking to do a bit more damage, right? Look at this. The third base getting pushed back from Aqueron. He's going to lose this command center unless he repairs it soon. The SCV's getting bounced out. That command center very, very low right now, but the Vikings for Aqueron coming in the backside. Ravens here. Auto turrets going down. This is a huge fight, Grant. It looks like Cass going to get driven away. Saves his third base, but does he have enough right now? Aqueron slightly ahead on army supply, but 11 SCVs going down.
Yeah, a lot of SCVs going down, but the army taking a big turn in favor of Aqueron. He also managed to catch the reinforcements. He had that small hit squad we saw down in the 6 o'clock position, just stopping reinforcements coming in. That hit squad now has been hit and does unfortunately go down. So Aqueron taking the better of the fight, really managed to win the air war there as he brought all the Vikings in, but he did lose a lot of workers. Now he is only behind 5 and will be producing 3 at a time, which is good. I'd say overall it's a relatively even trade. I mean, the supplies, 2 between them.
It's deja vu all over again, Grant. Early game fight, Cass takes the income advantage, Aqueron takes the army supply advantage. Where have I seen this before? Oh, right.
Upgrade
20 minutes ago in game 1. Still dead even here. Nice Viking shot there from Aqueron, getting that first volley off. That can often be really useful when you've got enough Vikings to one-shot another Viking with 1 volley from your Vikings. And if you take the initiative in the engagement, that allows your Liberated siege up. Cass is going to get driven back here.
Yeah, Liberator is really the key to closing these games out. Oh my god, the tanks here. Every time I watch this, it feels like Aqueron is just a step further ahead in terms of his micro. He's as I say that, he's losing loads of Vikings. Come on, mate, don't make me look silly. You can see here he's targeting individuals, whereas the Vikings of Cass are splitting fire. And I really like that. Cass had a couple more Vikings there, but the trade didn't go that efficiently. And now with the bio here, another Viking goes down. Aqueron is taking a 20 supply lead, and it's pretty much all in army, as they're on equal workers bar 1. Upgrades though, Cass is ahead. +2 weapons has not started for Aqueron. That is a mistake.
Yeah, correct. Not an overlay, not a strategic decision, not an army or an income decision. That's just a mistake. If he does not start +1 weapons very soon, there it is. Thank God. If he doesn't start +1 weapons soon, this game would hinge on a mistake. And Grant, as you and I both said last game, we hate games that hinge on mistakes rather than players playing well. And I don't want to detract from how well these guys are doing, because both players putting on a hell of a show for us, as you can attest. But I will say Cass is making, as you said, a few little micro mistakes, running his Marines into tank fire, not target firing those Vikings, just all these little rough edges that he hasn't quite smoothed off his gameplay. And Aqueron is taking all these little tiny inch-by-inch inch-by-inch improvements over Cass that have helped put him slightly ahead.
Yeah, he needs to hold this position. Aqueron has been a little bit sloppy in terms of seeing when attacks are coming, and sometimes he loses some units to that. But this time it looks like he's scanned. He knows where this is coming. He's going to continue to keep vision on this army, get his tanks split and spread very, very nicely. You cannot push into tanks like this because there's not enough disables, and also you can't target fire them down. They're split too well. This is an unattackable position. Mistake there from Aqueron again, though. Oh my god, he's going for it. He's going for a flank.
Let's hope he gets it here. This flank play from Cass. Oh my gosh, he's going into the
south
side.
Oh my god, he gets every tank. What a domination.
Very late siege from Cass. Aqueron coming up the backside, and now again, just like last game, a beautiful engagement from our Spanish Terran player Aqueron, really making a name for himself here in this first game.
Yeah, and the tank count now reset once again. Aqueron currently leading 8 tanks to just 3, and that's not great here. Cass is going to continue to try and push out and build pressure. In terms of air dominance, we're not seeing too much onus put onto it this game. Neither player currently producing a lot of Vikings, both of them only sitting at very low counts, and no Liberators either being produced as we speak. They're continuing with Bio mainly, and really focusing on that Aqueron. Boost. Oh, it's on cooldown. Oh my god.
Oh, he's got to drop behind his third base. He's going to be in a terrible position for this fight. The tank's finally getting down here. Late siege up, though, and is it Cass's turn to return fire here? Mass repair on that overlook command. A lot of Marines coming back to the side. Cass is going to get driven back there. A lucky save by Aqueron. As you said, a squeaky bum moment there for Aqueron.
Squeaky bum time.
Caught with all of those Marines loaded into the medevacs. You know, I just want to point out something you said earlier, Grant. You mentioned that neither player really overproducing Vikings or Liberators, and that is a testament to how well these players are reading their opponent. If you see your opponent with 2 Vikings, 4 Vikings, you immediately know, oh crap, he's double producing Vikings. He's going to have more Vikings than me in 5 minutes. I've got to make that adjustment in my play. Yes. This time, both players are seeing no Vikings and realizing, okay, he's not making Vikings. There's no reason for me to adjust here. Great chess on both sides.
Yeah, as my FPS goes to absolute pot right now. There we go, fixing herself. The tank sieging up here for Aqueron, doing much better in this. Tank number still favoring him, just by 2 though in this case. Oh my god, he's so so mad. As we see that big unload into the main. There's a lot here though already for Cass. It looks like all of the medevacs will be able to unpack. Supplies are very, very even, but the production facilities now of Aqueron of Cass even gonna be sieged upon and start going down. Medevacs are getting done in by some missile turrets. It will finally be cleaned up. Here is the bio coming back to clean this up. This was good, but not great, I would say, for Aqueron. He didn't get quite as much as he thought he probably would. Oh my god, if he gets these tanks though, that changes things.
Yep, gonna force an unsiege there out of Cass. Cass can try and drive those medevacs back. If I could just point out, I don't want to shit on Cass too much because he's playing an amazing game. But he's made some serious mistakes here, and we'll talk about him after this match because it looks like there is another big engagement about to happen, Grant.
Yeah, now we see the parade push from Aqueron as well. He's up 20 supply almost, and trying to get this done. There are barely any tanks left for Cass. He has 2 sitting in the back. Aqueron, though, very low on bio, trying to bring the reinforcements in, but they're actually going down to the backup tanks here of Cass. This game getting very, very scrappy very quickly. Aqueron still maintains a very similar supply lead. There's actually SCVs killing tanks. What happened?
What happened indeed? Aqueron's reinforcements going up the north flank, and as you said, Cass's backup tanks able to fire them down one by one, so an inefficient trade on the north flank for Aqueron. The south flank for Aqueron was set up, the tanks sieged up a bit late, but there were so many tanks they were able to get up and take down the bio, which meant that Cass then had to bring SCVs off the line to try and force the tanks to fire on top of each other, so a more efficient trade on the south flank for Aqueron. Unfortunately, of course, for Cass, Aqueron getting the better of that engagement economically, and now he's going to be able to reinforce a little bit more strongly. The income in favor of Aqueron now, and he's going to have the time to pump out a couple more SCVs should he so choose. Both players on 5 bases now, as 6th base going down for Cass. Sorry, pardon me, that is a 5th base.
That is the 5th.
Both players
so
on 5 bases now. Aqueron just slightly ahead.
Oh my god, stop this. My heart cannot take it, Aqueron. Aqueron once again loading up the boys. He's going to go all the way around and skirt the edge. There is a space here. Oh my god. Is he going to be able to get in and do this? But he's getting pushed as well, and he really doesn't have much to defend. Oh, this is going to be
an army supply for like the first time this game.
Yeah, and he's going, man. Aqueron sees it. He does have the high ground, Anakin, so he has that advantage. Scan goes in here. Aqueron gonna go and unload into the main. He doesn't skirt the edges, instead just going for it. And Cass comes home. This is exactly what Aqueron wants. If Cass had just pushed in, he maybe would have been able to find a lot more damage here. But no, he's coming all the way home, and this is good for Aqueron, definitely. He's got tanks firing down on the low ground, killing SCVs. 11 already going down. That number continues to rise.
Dear Lord, great engagement here for Aqueron. This dropping exactly what he needs. One thing that a lot of players don't think about, as Cass is going to eventually clean this up as the Marines stream in, but my god, it's cannon fodder here. More and more tank shots going down. Finally, Aqueron gets cleaned up, but at what cost? Cass now behind in workers and behind in army supply. Grant, there's one thing that a lot of players don't think about. If you're just watching the game casually or playing the game at like not a master grandmaster level, one of the resources that you have is your army supply. But if your army supply is not doing anything, then it's basically not a resource at all. So even though Cass was even on army supply, or even slightly ahead of Aqueron, his army was in the middle of the map, running back and forth, trying to set up for an attack, and then filtering all the way back, meaning that even though he's ahead in army supply, his army wasn't doing anything. It was a waste of resources. That's money that could have been in his economy, could have been in upgrades, or upgrade timings happening. So a bit of a resource allocation mistake there from Cass, getting forced all the way back home to deal with this. Now he's going to try and push it again, but Cass is under the gun now. He knows he's way behind.
Yeah, and upgrades as well, starting to really favor that of our red Spanish Terran. We can see here free is done, +2 vehicle weapons 2 seconds away. That is a free upgrade lead right now for Aqueron, and I can promise you that makes all the difference in these fights. You can see here, even in the tank trade, Aqueron's tanks live, Cass's do not. And now Aqueron going to siege up, move up to this high ground, and he's looking for a fight right now. He scans, he will have seen the upgrades. He will know right now that he has that advantage. And I mean, he's still got a good 2 minutes, I imagine, of it as well, as plus is 3-3, not even halfway done, and he hasn't started +2 vehicle weapons. Aqueron, oh, for God's sake, kid.
If at first you don't succeed, drop
Try
again.
again.
moves over. Looks like he's going to pressure that newly established 5th base of
this
Cass.
is really smart.
But there's nothing else there, and with that many 3-3 Marines, anybody who plays anything other than Terran knows 3-3 Marines are terrifying.
Really
that planetary fortress is going to drop like a rock in a pond, and the SCV's pulled out, but they are going to get obliterated by those tanks. And again, look at Cass's army in the middle of the map, like a flock of velociraptors trying to move to a new source of damage. Grant, I don't know if you follow ice hockey at all. There's a famous Canadian ice hockey player named Wayne Gretzky who said, you don't
I know who he is. I thought he played baseball.
No, he's an ice hockey player. And he said, you don't skate to where the puck is. You skate to where the puck is going to be. And Cass right now is so far behind that he's trying to skate to where the puck is and respond to the imminent threat and not figure out where the puck is going to be. But I do like this position from him.
Yes, so do I. Cass has found an incredible angle right now. The Marines as well with this huge Dorito cannon. Very, very weak. Luckily, there is just enough to clean up. Aqueron has all his tanks down on the side. He doesn't have the tanks that he needs right now to clean this up. What are they all doing? Most of them even unsieged.
Yeah, he's so busy microing, he's forgotten about those tanks backside. His CC is being cleaned up there at the north side. Finally, he remembers, oh, right, tanks. Tanks are good. He loses the CC, but now Cass is in a tough position. If he doesn't win with this push, Grant, he isn't going to win this game at all. He has no workers back home, 39-66. He's on 4 bases, trying to float another base over to his 5th location, but Aqueron looking to put some counter pressure as well. Oh, this is such a sneaky play from Aqueron. What the balls on this guy, under duress from an army larger than his, and he's still like, you know what? I'm going to go back and put some counter pressure on the other side of the map.
Yeah, now the scary thing, oh my god, Cass, learning from the youngsters, you know, you can teach an old dog new tricks. He loads up and goes into the main here. He's not going to be able to siege up too well. Liberators doing so much damage to these tanks, and the tanks that are here, they're so important. Marines popping out immediately to their death. Very nice fight. These Liberators are just providing wonder right now. Oh my god, so many kills. 15 plus between them. And this is looking pretty good for Aqueron once again. He pushes Cass back. He has double the worker count almost. He's moving in to push him back at the front. He found some damage, I believe, at the other side of the map as well. And now 60 supply lead, Creighton.
60 supply lead for Aqueron. Cass forced to tuck his tail between his legs and go back home. And Grant, what did we say earlier? If Cass doesn't win with that push, he's simply not going to be able to win. I mean, look at the bank right now for Aqueron. 1K, 2.5K in the bank to the 100 minerals of Cass.
Yeah.
Sure, Aqueron has lost a couple bases, and he probably can't engage into this massive tank line from Cass, but even taking an inefficient trade here, Aqueron has twice the army supply, literally twice the army
supply. Full stop.
Twice the supply, full stop. He's getting a fusion core to go for Liberator pushes. He's getting +1 vehicle, air weapons for the Liberators. And Aqueron just looks to be in an unassailable position right now.
Yeah, he's certainly in a good spot. I mean, I've seen miracles happen before, and I'll see miracles happen again. But Cass is in a lot of trouble right now. 44 workers. He's trying to produce some SCVs when he can, but he needs to make units. He's constantly as well. You see Aqueron even scanning to the south, making sure that base isn't there, figuring out how good a position he is. He's currently up 75 supply. And it is a considerable amount of that in army. Now, this army is battered, it's bruised, but it is still better upgraded. Aqueron now adding in those big boy upgrades. He is getting advanced ballistics, he's getting high-tech auto tracking. I just guessed the name of that. It's something like that.
Nailed it. That's actually
correct. Boy! And pushing in, looking for blood. Cass in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I do like that Cass has produced a few Vikings here to try and drive back the Liberator force, but man, this is one of those difficult situations where a lot of players a lot of viewers are tempted to be like, oh man, Terran versus Terran is so broken. How do you even win from this position once your opponent? And of course, the answer is you don't let your opponent get to this position. Aqueron putting pressure on multiple fronts, even stimming in. Luckily, Cass trying to respond to it, but his army again pulled back south. That's going to allow Aqueron's north flank to get some more damage done. And with these tanks up, I'm worried Cass going to lose another base, or if not, a significant chunk of his army here. Oh man, those Vikings are getting railed. Yeah,
they actually do a pretty good job of cleaning up. Vikings surprisingly good on the ground. Right. God! Aqueron, though, he doubles back. He does the same thing, but better. More units, bigger drops. He's going for it now. The final fight of the game. We see it looks like Cass maybe is going to be able to hold him back for now, but as the tank siege is up, the higher ground has been taken by Obi-Wan Aqueron Obi. That didn't work. And actually, it was a 75 supply lead. Now it's a 30 supply lead. There's no way.
Aquobi? I can't do it.
No, it can't be. It's there. Aqueron and Obi.
I don't know. Chad will figure it out and tell us how dumb we are. Don't worry, Grant. But look at the bank right now for Aqueron.
Yeah,
he hasn't lost any of his production facilities, so sure, he's a little bit stressed. You can see that because he's moved his main orbital command into that position at the 12 o'clock, and that's how you know a Terran player it doesn't like have as much money as they want, because obviously they just want to keep building orbital command after orbital command. But he's at 1K, 2K right now. Cass struggling on 39 workers. Cass has not been able to squeeze out a significant number of SCVs. He's only just now building a few more. But look at Cass's bases right now. Main base, mined out. Natural mined out. Third base, practically mined out. Fourth base, still mining. Sure, that's one base. And then fifth base also mined out. Oversaturated on one base, whereas Aqueron is on like 1, 2.5, 2, maybe 3 mining bases. And Aqueron just pushing through. He can take inefficient trades.
He has too much.
He knows he can win it.